It has now been 4 years since George Carlin has passed away. I'm here with Roman to talk about it. Roman?
Oi. Yes, the passing away of George Carlin. Uh, he is one of my favorite comedians, and I would consider him what would you consider him?
A prophet.
A prophet, maybe. Prophet, comedian, guy, maybe.
Yeah.
Influential.
A what?
He's influential.
Influential, okay.
He was influential. The seven curse words you couldn't use.
Yep. I mean, like, there's so much you could start talking about him. I mean,
but,
like...
But he also had really, really, really good points, though.
Exactly. I mean, like, I like the one point one quote from him was like how he was mentioning malls and stuff like that, and he goes, you know, he's like, forget the ball, they go, you know what the national emblem of this country should be? A big bowl of macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, but he said so much stuff. Yeah. He lived for a long time. How old was he?
He was in his late 70s.
Okay. Yeah. He did his own HBO show, right? He had his own comedy show on HBO.
Yeah,
right?
he had his own comedy show. I don't think it was on HBO though, but he did have his own show though at one point. He was.
Yeah, I can see him on HBO, I think, or Showtime, or one of those things.
Bill Maher was on is on HBO, and he's a big fan of George Carlin. He had him on his show when he was alive and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot we could say about George Carlin, so just take your time.
Huh?
I said there's a lot you could say about him, so just take your time.
You start off. You know a lot more about him than I do, though.
Okay. Well, I like when he talked about cats and dogs, and he would mention stuff about like examples with cats and dogs. I just think it's hilarious, and like how I'm not a pet owner, but like how pet owners could probably relate to that, and like I just found the videos to be hilarious nonetheless.
Yeah.
Where he talked about like cats and dogs and stuff like that, and different pets. And then there was one where he did when he was older. He talked about like how like people would always yammer on the phone and just keep yammering on the phone, and and like how like you know, like he thought like phone calls were just meant to be like, you know, just for like short conversations. I thought that was pretty funny. And then like there were like moments where like I felt the same way on an issue that George Carlin felt the same way on, but the thing was like I didn't know how to express it, or I didn't know like anyone else out there that really actually felt the same way I did. So like when he said it, I was like, yeah, you know, I can relate to that, or like I agree with him, or I understand that, you know.
Yeah, I love the way he was talking about God and everything like that. You know, he was like, I wish that Joe Pesci, I would wish Joe Pesci. And he's like, cause that motherfucker, he gets things done.
Exactly. And then I like the thing he did on National Pride.
Oh yeah.
He did this one video on National Pride. Where, you know, he questioned it, because I mean National Pride is just stupid anyway, but I mean like I mean it's like I always had a problem with it when people said they were proud to be this, or like a certain pride of like a nationalism, or like a nationality or whatever. But I mean like I always had a problem with that. I always questioned, like, what exactly do you mean by that? I mean, like, I didn't even realize what the word pride even meant. But then, like, I looked it up online, and, you know, like, after George Carlin said, like, it meant to be, like, you know, something that you used to accomplish something, you know? And it's like, yeah, I mean, he was right. That's what the definition of pride is. I mean, it's like, again, it means, like, how can you accomplish being, you know, an American, you know? You didn't do anything to accomplish
the
that.
real people who should have pride are the founding fathers. Now, they have something to be prideful about. Well, used to our country's going to the ground, but they still have pride.
I mean, like, you can have pride in like starting a business, you know. You can have pride in many different things, including like, you know, learning an instrument or something like that. But you know, it's like, I just hate when people do that with the national pride stuff. I mean, that's basically nationalism, and you know how great nationalism, and you know where that's led us to before, you know.
Oh yeah, nationalism. That's just giving us Hitler.
That's just like one example. Yep, definitely. I mean, and that was just like, and I mean like, he talked about many different things, including the airplane one. I like the one where he talked about airplanes, where he's like, it's a near hit.
A near miss.
A near miss, yeah.
Should that be a near hit?
It's a near miss, and it's like, look, they nearly missed. Dude, I wish I could do that. Like two planes would crash. I just look up like, look, they nearly missed.
Yeah.
I just thought that was hilarious when he said that. And then yeah, I mean like the thing with the seatbelts, like like when you go on an airplane, it's like the flight attendants like do the seatbelt thing, and it's like, yeah, I mean like I'm pretty sure I know how to put on a seatbelt. Thank you very much. But whatever, it's just some stupid safety regulations anyway. But I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, does that seem kind of an insult to you, or it's like, oh yeah, I've done this 1,000 times already, but here you go again with the safety instruction thing. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, like that's some other stuff, and then, yeah, I mean, like some quotes from him, like about like the flamethrowers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Flamethrower quote. That was pretty good. I like that quote. And then, I mean, yeah, I mean, I just have a lot of respect for the man in the first place. I just found him to be cool and awesome. I like how he, like, in one video, how he's like, you should, like, teach your children to question everything. But then he's like, the only problem with that is then, like, your children start questioning what the parents would say. And then, like, that's why they don't do that. And then he said in quotes that they all come all fucked up to shows like this one, the one he was at. Like performing, and the audience laughed. I thought that was pretty funny too.
Yeah. Maybe you could put a link to a funny George Carlin video in the video.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got plenty that I could use. I mean, just plenty. I mean, there's the one about he was like saving the planet, and it's like how all these environmentalists are all like blah 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 about saving the planet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I like this video on the whole like abortion issue because like it shows like some like things that are really hypocritical of like the pro-life people, like how they're very biased about pro-life and they really don't actually mean it. They just use it as a cover-up to like say something or do something.
Yeah.
I mean like they're very biased and like, oh, we wouldn't care about human life and we don't care about anything else but like human life, which is like, I don't know. I mean if you're gonna care about life, I mean you should care about more than just human life.
Yeah.
And I mean like I mean, there were other examples. I mean, yeah, I mean, I could go to many. There was, like, these things on drugs and, like, how speak openly about drugs and stuff like that. There was also, go on.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I like the video he talked about where, like, how, there was, like, asphyxiation where, like, a kid would, like, where, like, I don't know if kids still do this, but, like, how, like, young teens or old teens would, like hang themselves and like would masturbate. So like
yeah.
At the point of like climax, they would just like have this like great big burst or whatever. I mean, I don't know. And like, but like a lot of kids end up killing themselves because like they did the timing wrong, and like the parents would just pretend like it had nothing. It was like they were so embarrassed, like they pretend like it was nothing or whatever. And then like how he said he noticed like how parents always blame like other sources besides themselves for their own kids.
For their kids being messed up.
Yeah, like they would blame like how he said he used to blame like Judas Priest and heavy metal music, and now how they mostly blame rap and stuff like that. But he's like, notice how it's never the parents' fault,
Yeah.
No one ever questions the parents. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, if the parents, it's like the parents like, oh, kid got fucked up, we had nothing to do with that, We had nothing to do with that. And it's like, oh, the kid turned out great. The parents could just raise their hands and be like, oh, yeah, we helped with that. Oh, we helped with that. But the kid turns out fucked up. Oh, nope, we had nothing to do with him. We had nothing to do with her.
I think one of my favorite George Carlin quotes is when he said something about the Bible. He's like, I think about how people like read the Bible a lot when they get old, and then it came all of a sudden to me. They're cramming for their final exam.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, I like that.
Huh?
I like that.
And then when he was like, I recently went to a new doctor and noticed he was located in something called the professional building. I felt better right away. I love it how he's so sarcastic about some things.
Yeah, man. And then like I liked how he was also in radio, and he did TV performances and stuff like that too. I mean, I listened to one of his things back in the day, like when he was a radio disc jockey, and like even back in the 1960s, they were still cursing out on the Chicago Cubs, which I thought was funny because I guess the Chicago Cubs have always been getting shit for like the past 100 years.
Yeah. But put some links in there for George Carlin, and it's been 4 years, and I still love the guy. Still watch his stuff today.
I mean, like one of the videos I really liked was when he was like Who Controls America and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like the We Like War video where it's like, yeah, bombing brown people.
Yeah.
So like 4 years. I mean, like 5 years would probably be more significant for me, myself personally, because it's 5 years. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I've always had this thing for like this preference for numbers that like are like in
good big numbers. But 4 is an even number. I don't like 5.
Right.
I don't like it.
I think it's funny like how like George Carlin even mentioned that like in this 10 Commandments video about like how 10 is important, 10 is a sounding number and stuff like that. And it's like I feel it's like for some reason 10 is like it's like one of those kind of numbers where it's like it's used over and over again because it seems like to be it's like top 10 this or worst
top 10. Yeah, why can't it be like top 9?
Right, exactly. I like how you mentioned that
9.5.
Yeah, exactly. And then like I mentioned, I like how he like mentioned the 10 Commandments video. He's like, they put 10 Commandments because people wouldn't take them seriously. He said he was like, if they put 11 Commandments, people look at them and go, the 11 Commandments, come on, get the fuck out of here, 11 Commandments. And then like he was like, so really putting the 10 Commandments was actually a marketing strategy.
A marketing strategy.
And then I mean. It was all good, So I mean, there's a lot.
Say something about them. About them should be renamed. Like, why are they commandments? Why can't they be requests?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
And then yeah. So then I mean, there's plenty of stuff you can definitely check out about George Carlin to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, this video's been going on for a while. I just realized that. All right. For those listening, thanks for listening in. I hope you're just as big as George Carlin fan as me and Roman here.
Yes. And watch his videos too. I'll put some links down and below.
Yes, I will. Because that's awesome. Alright.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.